to get going again. Down at the bottom of your screen, there should be a little guy in silhouette with a little green check mark. If you push that box, there'll be an agree and a disagree button inside of there. I'm going to ask you to push those frequently. Green normally means yes, and red normally means no. Push the green button now so I know that you're hearing me. Okay, Janya, are you missing in action? Okay, and if you let that screen go back down, you'll see across the bottom there are some icons there next to your microphone and your camera. There's a raise your hand button. Put your hand up. And we got one person that didn't get their hand up. Okay, you can put it back down again. So if you have a question, rather than just speaking out because we get a lot of feedback, what I want you to do is put your hand up, and I may or may not get the opportunity to call on you. I'll wait for an open spot. But it'll be, for example, if I ask the class a question and you know the answer, you put your hand up. It'll help with your participation grade, particularly if you get the question right. So this is COS 210, Section 010 for the spring of 2022, and it's called Computer Science 2 Data Structures. In the window in front of you, you should see the kind of class outline syllabus sort of thing. I don't schedule this class out in terms of what you're going to do every class because it kind of evolves as time goes on to make sure that we cover the material you're really going to be needing. I want to take a look at that outline, though. At the top, we give kind of the boilerplate of what we're going to cover, and we'll talk about that rather than me just reading it to you. You can read it at your leisure. I would bookmark this page, or at least I would bookmark the website, and there'll be a link from the website to this page very quickly. The other thing you need to know is my email address, bostaind@mccc.edu, is on this page. You're going to be sending me lots of emails. Make sure you know where that is, so if you have to look it up until you at least can get it memorized. Textbooks and materials. I don't know if the bookstore still sells a textbook for this class. We haven't really used one in about 10 years. And the one that they were using was a little dated. That doesn't mean if you got it, it's bad, or it doesn't mean if you have it, it's something you couldn't use. It just isn't very up to date. And we don't follow directly along with the material that's in there. So the textbook is primarily internet resources or things that I ask you to get in a different way. And you don't need to purchase whatever the textbook is the bookstore might say you need. If you did, no big deal. You could take it back or you could keep it and use it as a useful resource, but like I say, it won't follow exactly what we're doing in class. Prereq for this is COS 102. That kind of means you got to know how to use your computer. I'm not going to handhold you through every activity we need to do. I also am only going to do the Windows version of whatever we do. If you're using a Mac, you can run a virtual machine to do the Windows stuff, or you can figure out what you need to do to make it work on Mac. The same with Linux. If you're using Linux, you should know what to do already, or you shouldn't be using Linux. We will be using the console a little bit in this class. Not if you were taking the 231 class that I teach, you'd be using it a lot. And there it's a little more important that you have more background. But setting up the environment to be able to work is a little tough if you don't quite know how to use the computer yet. And I've had experiences in the past where somebody gets in this class and they really don't kind of know where the power switch is. And so if that's you, you're going to need to get some tutoring, or you're going to need to work with other people in the class to get your skills up so that you don't hold the class back, because I'm not going to have time to pause and show you 15 ways to do things. So keep that in mind in terms of things you need to be able to do. It also assumes you know some basic Java programming. Hopefully not too much. Very often, one of the biggest problems I run into is know-it-alls. people that are convinced they know everything there is to know, and they're not willing to relax and perhaps learn it in a way that'll enhance their experience in the future. You might wonder why we're using Java as opposed to Python or some flashy new language, Rust or something like that. The reason is because it serves the purpose well of giving us a language where most of the errors that you can make that would affect our data structures abilities are caught at compile time rather than runtime, which is the preferred way of catching errors. We want to catch it when we're writing the code, not when our end user is using it. The other thing is, and reasons you would want to use what you need from my style is, assume you're working for a company and I'm the boss. I don't want to pay for you to do things that I'm going to have somebody else redo or re-enhance. And one of the things I run into is people who stylistically do things differently than the class style. Now, it may not be the same style I used last semester or the semester before. So by all means, don't borrow code from another semester and assume you can turn it in. That would be a big mistake because you probably would be copying style that would be easily recognized. You need to do things the way that we do it in here and assume that when you can get your code looking like my code, you're doing very well. And for some of you go, well, no, I'm just the best coder in the world. I know how to do everything already. I would ask you to relax from that. Some of my best programmers that we've ever turned out have been people who thought that, gave up on it after about a week, and actually focused in and tried to learn it the right way. So I'll just keep that as a side thing. Now, if you don't know any Java at all, you're going to have to really come up to speed quickly. So again, you're going to need a tutor or you're going to need to work with other people in the class. And I definitely encourage working with people in the class, except when it's going to be on an exam or something and it would be considered cheating. So, definitely you're going to need to meet the people in the class, learn to work with them. Toward the end of the semester, you'll go like you guys are all buddies with each other, even though right now you may not even know anybody in the class. You kind of have to learn to work with people to get through the material that we're doing. So one of the things we need to look at here are what our grade evaluation is going to be on, because we're doing a remote thing, which means you have to come to class when I'm here. This isn't just all online and you can do it when you please. We have class from 8 to 9:50, 2 nights a week, and you are expected to be here for every minute of the class. And your attendance, your participation, and your ability to be here on time and be here during the entire session is going to be something from which a large portion of your grade is derived. There are a whole lot of lightweight assignments. They count about 50% of your grades. There also is a big final project, and there's a test or two and a final exam. This last part counts toward 50% of your grade, but the exam portions, because obviously if you're doing remote work, it's easy to cheat, don't count as much as they would as if I were proctoring the class in person. So a lot of emphasis will fall on that final project. And just the nature of it is it's not something that's easily cheatable on. Now, I may sound like I'm focusing on that, but that seems to be a lot of people's downfall. And quite honestly, they get caught. And I'm looking for everybody in here right now, finishing the course with an A. Don't disappoint me. Don't be the guy that gets a B because you didn't come to class, or gets a C because you didn't come to class and didn't prepare for something, or worse. So keep that in mind. A whole lot of in-class work counts toward 50% of your grade. 3 things or 4 things, because there may be 2 tests, will count toward the other 50%. But probably the biggest part of that 50% will be this final project. So you'll want to kind of, in your mind, make sure you're always finishing your assignments and staying where you're always in reach of getting the good grade. Don't let, any of behavioral problems on your part or your inattention to paying attention in class get you in trouble. Now, being at class is important. Being on time is important. Turning in homework, also participation. If I in lecture am moving along talking about a topic and I stop and I call on somebody, I expect you to be able to give me the answer. The wrong answer is always, what was the question? That means you weren't paying attention. The other one is, I have no idea, because you weren't paying attention. I just told you what it was. A wrong answer, it's possible. That's possible. And that's closer to participating than having the right answer when I ask you. The other thing is, we've scheduled the class so it's about an hour short of lecture time that we would normally do in a face-to-face class. And that's because there will be, probably not tonight, but in general, there will be a lot of work to do outside of class to prepare for the next session. It's not always a programming assignment. Sometimes it's study, sometimes it's reading. But you'll find that if you keep up on that and allocate at least an hour outside of each class to work on this class, you'll do just fine. And, right now I have no opinion of whether you're any good or not. It's your chance to prove to me that you're going to be a good student and you're going to be able to understand computer science. So at this point, does anybody have any questions? If you do, please raise your hand. Okay, give me a green circle if you can still hear me. Maria and Arnav, I don't see a green circle from you guys. Okay, if you're going to step away from your computer to go to the bathroom or something like that, where you're going to be gone only for a few minutes, a couple minutes, make sure down in that circle thing, when you pop that window up where the green and the red box are, there's a thing called away. I'm going to hit the button. You'll see I get a... And then when I'm back, it goes back again. So if you have to step away, and you shouldn't have to, you can plan so you're here for the lecture. The lectures aren't that long. But if you do need to, make sure you'll mark yourself as away so that I don't call on you while you're away. And don't be away for 4 hours. If you are, you're probably not participating. Okay. We need to get a couple resources before we do any lecture material tonight. So one of the things I want you to do, well, first of all, I want you to go to the website. Let me give you the URL for that. So you want to go to that URL and bookmark that. There'll be a few items added here, not a lot. Most of this is used for, I'll ask you to download something and it'll be from this website. So you'll append to this some data about the file you're going to do. We don't have to use Blackboard for that because Blackboard has very limited space. And some of the things you'll be downloading could be bigger just for this class, and I don't want to post them on Blackboard. So bookmark that page so that you can easily get it. Give me a green circle when you get that done. You'll get so tired of hitting that green circle button, but it's one of the ways I know you're participating. Now we want to go to this website. Stick this off to the side here for the moment. And this takes us to the place where we can get the legal version of the JDK or the Java Developers Kit that we'll be using during this class. Now, you may or may not already have a version of Java on your computer. We're going to be using 17.0.2, and we're going to get it from the java.net, not from Oracle. This makes the license work for all the situations where we would need to be able to use it. On this page, you'll find something called API Java Doc. I want you to click on that and then bookmark this page. This is the Java Docs for version 17. Give me a green circle when you get that done. Okay, we're still missing some people here. Okay, go back to the page we were on, this guy. And we're going to download the appropriate one of these files for the architecture we're using. Now, like I say, I'm not going to explain how to install the Linux versions or the Mac version. You're going to have to, either read the documentation, figure it out, or look at what we do with Windows and work from there. Most of you will be downloading this zip file. So all you have to do is click on that, and you'll see it appear down in the corner. It takes a while to download. If you're using Linux, there's two versions of it. You want the one, if you're on Linux, that's an x64. This one would be used with a Raspberry Pi. It's the ARM architecture. This is for what you'd likely be using if you're taking this class. And you're going to get a tar file, which is compressed. Same thing with Mac OS. You're going to want the x64 version, the tar GZ guy, not the ARM version. Now, it looks like mine has downloaded. Give me a green circle when you get that downloaded. Hey, Nicholas, did you get yours? Okay, now, what I suggest is you show it in the folder. Now, if you're running Mac or Linux right now, you need to take notes about what we're doing. If you're running Windows, you can actually do the process. What you want to do is on this zip file, now I have all sorts of zip files here, but this is the one I just downloaded. You want to right click and do extract all. Yeah, I'm not going to do that because I've already done it. Now, I'm going to do something that you all aren't going to do right now, but inside of that folder, so find the folder that you unzipped it into, and we want to get this file that's inside of it. Now, I know I'm getting mine in the zip file, but don't do it the way I told you to do it. And give me a green circle if you have that file highlighted like I do right now. We want to put that file in that location. So what you could do here is you could do a right click and a copy. And then you could go to this location, C, Program Files, Java. If you don't have that folder, you can create that. And inside there, you're going to copy that folder. So I'm going to go there on my machine. So here's C Program Files, Java. And in there, you're going to put this file, JDK-17.0.2. I have a bunch of old versions in here also. Let me know when you have that done by a green circle. And again, if you get behind, take notes from that point on so you can discuss with somebody else how to get yours set up this way. Okay, so now we have a C Program Files / Java, and in there we have this file. Don't you do this, but I'm going to open mine up. This is the Java install. It's immediately inside that folder. So what we have to do is we have to tell the system where we put this file so that when we use the command prompt, it can find this folder. Somebody had their hand up just a second ago. Who was that?
Yes, Professor, that was me.
What's up?
I just had a quick question. Some classes record the lectures for students in future notice. I just wanted to know if you record the lectures, just in case.
We do not.
Okay.
Yeah, we do not. There's too many privacy concerns about that, particularly when we have students with accommodations.
Okay. Thank you, Professor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what we want to do now is we need to create two environment variables. Well, we're going to probably create one and do the other. The first one we're going to create is going, it's going to be called Java Home. And the second one we're going to modify is called Path. So let's look at Java Home first of all. What we need to set the environment variable for Java Home to be is this location right here. We need to say exactly where that folder is. So to do that, what we're going to do is you want to do a search. Now, unfortunately, my stuff is coming up on the other monitor and I can't drag them across. But search for ENV, letter E and V is like the word environment. And then look in the list and you want to find an option called Edit the System Environment Variables. You might refer to the control panel as well. Open that little window. It'll look like this. And down here near the bottom, you'll see environment variables. Click that, and you'll get a window that looks like this. Okay, give me a green circle if you're looking at that screen right now. Well, that's better than most semesters. Usually I get a bunch of people that can't find the green button. Okay, so what we're going to do here, I know it's hard to see, but I can't change the font size of this thing, is down in the bottom section of this, actually what you can do is look at the top section up here. See if you see something called Java Home. If you do, what you really want to do is delete it, but make sure it says Java Home. If you don't see it, that's fine. Look in the bottom section, see if you have it. I do, because I've run lots of versions of Java on this machine. So what I would do is I would double click on it. It'll pop up, and then I'll put this right here on the second line. Mine's already been done, so I can't do it again. If you don't have Java Home, you hit the new button, it'll bring a blank one up, and then you just have to put in Java_home up here, and this on the second one, hit OK, and you'll create it. Let me know when you have Java Home created. Give you another minute or so to get it done. I know it's a little hard. This name right here is actually where that file is, right? We know where it is. So if you were to just go into that folder and then come up here and copy that name on the top line, that's what you're going to be putting on here. So that would be a way to do it if you didn't want to type all that out. Okay, I've seen lots of green circles, so I'm assuming everybody has it done. Actually, let's everybody that has that done hit the green circle and they time out and go away. So everybody that's got it done, give me a green circle. Let's see who didn't. Now I realize some of you that didn't are either Mac or Linux users and don't know the commands for that, which you should have learned in 102, but my experience has been that they didn't teach you that. Okay, now down in the bottom, actually what you want to do here, look at the top section up here. If you have a variable called path, double click on it and then look at the list and make sure there's no mention of a Java file in here anywhere. If there is, don't delete the line. Well, you can delete the line from here. You can't delete the path. But in any event, down here, what we want to do is modify the path. So scroll down till you find path. Double click on it. You will have a path. No chance you won't. And what we want to do is we want to put as the top entry, the first entry in the path, a line that looks like this. %Java_home %/ notice a backslash bin. Percents, Java Home is all capitalized, there's an underscore in the middle. And if you look at my list, it's the very first one in the list. I added it at the bottom and I can't move up until it went to the top. When you're done with that, hit OK. And green circle when you've got that done. Isn't this fun? Don't you guys feel like computer scientists already? I just see you guys sitting there with a Bunsen burner. Oh, it'd be just great. Okay, give everybody a couple seconds to get that done. Now I need you to open a command prompt. Yours is probably white text on a black background. And in this window, I want you to say Java space dash dash version. And you should get something that looks like what I just got. And then I want you to say JAVAC, Java with a C stands for compiler on the end of it, space dash dash version. And in both cases, you should have 17.0.2 as the Java it found. Michelle?
I tried mine and it said error could not create the Java virtual machine.
What type of platform are you running on?
Windows.
And you downloaded the Windows zip file?
Yeah.
Okay, that error I'm not familiar with because we don't normally get that. We'll have to work with that independently. I thought you installed this last semester. Didn't we install it? You were in the class last semester, right?
In this one, no.
But in the other class, the 231.
No, we didn't install Java last semester.
Okay. Okay, well, there's nothing I can do to help you with that right now. We'll have to look at it separately. Okay, give me a green circle if you got the right version.
Mine is showing 16.2.
What? Say it again. It's a little louder.
Mine is saying 16.0.2, the old version. I can get.
Okay, that means you didn't change your path correctly.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna fix it.
Okay. Hey, give me a green circle again if you've got everything. Up to snuff on that point. One thing you can do here to take a look is say echo % Java _ home % like that, and it'll show you what's in your Java home variable. You can go echo % path %. I spell it right though. It'll show you your path. My path is probably longer than some of yours, but it doesn't matter. What you're going to see is at the very first entry here is Java Home will be expanded, and the word bin will be on the end of it, and there'll be a semicolon, and then what used to be in your path. So that's one thing you could take a look at if you're having trouble. If you don't see those, it isn't going to work. Okay. Let me see. I hate to keep asking you to do this, but it's the only way I can tell without making you turn on your cameras. And quite honestly, I don't want to see you this time of night. So give me a green circle if you've got it working. Got to be more than 4 people. Okay, so let's review what we did. From this page, we downloaded the correct file. It went to our download folder. We went there and unzipped it. After we had unzipped it, we went into the thing and got the file that's name was JDK-17.0.2, and we made a copy of it and put it into the C program files Java directory. So if we go to local disk C program file Java, we go in that folder, we should find that JDK file. Is this file that we're going to call Java Home. So we created an environment variable called Java Home, which named that folder. We then, in our path, took that Java Home and pointed at a subdirectory called bin. Once we did that, we went to command prompt. We said Java -- version. And if everything's in the right place, this will tell us we're running 17.0.2. Then we did javac, because some systems come with this already pre-installed. Javac -- version will tell us for sure we did everything right, because it'll tell us we have the compiler. Then just to double check, we echoed out what's in Java Home and we echoed out what's in the path to make sure we didn't make any typos. Okay, let's take one more stab. Show me a green light if you've got it doing the right thing, the correct version. Raise your hand if you're having trouble. Okay, we know what Mikkel's problem was. We don't know how to fix it yet, but we know what it was. Arnav, what problem are you having?
Whenever
I'm having
I
the same
type in
problem.
on the command.
Arnav. Yeah, I got two people talking.
Yeah, sorry. I'm also having the same problem. It just says, could not create the Java virtual machine.
Okay.
The same problem that Mikkel had.
Uh-huh. Who's talking now, Arnav or John? I see both microphones turned on.
Our
Okay. Johnny, what do you have wrong? What's going on with yours?
Whenever I type in Java dash version, it says I'm using 17.0.1, and when I type in echo Java home, all it says is the percent Java underscore home percent.
When you do,
So when I echo Java home, it doesn't show the location. It just sends back Java home.
and you put percent signs on it when you echoed it?
Yes.
Okay, well, you have something typed
And I went back
what?
through all.
Yeah.
I went back through all the locations several times, and I can't figure out what it is.
Okay. And you're getting 01,
Yes.
and you're on a Windows 10 or 11 machine?
10.
Okay. Okay, is anybody else having other problems? Or are those the same problems? Xavier?
I'm running the right version, but when I hit echo Java home, it doesn't return anything. I'm also on Mac, so I'm not sure. I'm Googling right now.
Yeah, if you're on Mac, you'll have to create those. Are you using a Windows emulator or are you doing it raw Mac?
No, for right now, I'm doing it in the terminal. I'm probably going to get a Windows emulator.
Yeah, it could be that the Mac version hasn't been updated to 02 yet. I don't have a Mac in my office here to test with. I know the Linux version has been updated to 02, so the 01 would be fine. It's not going to hurt you. It's some little bugs and things we're not even going to be worried about.
I think it's just making the Java home path that's the issue, because it says 17.0.2.
Okay. So how are you creating your path?
To be honest, I'm not sure exactly how to create. I go to Bash, I go to the Bash profile, and whatever my Python setup right now for the Bash profile, but I'm trying to establish Java, but it's not recognized.
Okay. Make sure on Mac you use a colon and not a semicolon to separate the entries.
Colon. Okay.
It could be that. Okay. Anybody else that has a different type of problem?
I had a question about the Java home. So when we're setting it up and we open where it says new user variable and we're trying to input the Java home, what do we type into the two bars? The bottom one is the location of it, correct? And then the top one is
The
Java home.
top one's the name. Bottom one's the location.
Gotcha.
And then you have to hit OK to make it be saved. Sylvan, what are you having problems with?
Yeah, actually, I was having problem with the same Java home. Basically, I got my JDK 17.0.2 on my program file, so I was struggling like how to put the location of Java home.
Okay, well, you're just going to put in this. Make sure that in the program files you created a directory called Java and put this inside of it. Physically,
Okay.
This has to be inside that directory. And then you go create this Java home, which points at that.
Okay, all right.
Okay. And Nicholas, did you have anything else? See your hand's still up.
Oh, sorry. I'm still just trying to get it to work.
Okay. It's possible. We're going to put this aside for a second, and you can work on this with somebody else in the class. If anybody wants to volunteer to help people, there's a little chat area down at the bottom that you can, give them an email or a phone number, whatever you want to do to be able to work with them to help them get theirs set up. I can't really help you with Mac and Linux because I don't have machines here that will let me help you with them. But also, we need to move ahead and we'll get the actual environment downloaded for the next class. So what we want to do is actually do the download right now, but we're not going to do the install. So what I want you to do go here, this location. Let's see if I can get that on the screen so you can see it. So go here. It should take you to a page that looks like the one I have here on the bottom. Then we're going to download 2021-12, which we'll do from this area right here. If your window's in the middle there is a zip file. The one you want is it's an executable file. It's x86_64. For the Mac, use the x86-64. For Linux, use the x86-64. Don't use the ARch ones. They're for the Raspberry Pi.
Professor.
So what you want to do? Yes, sir.
I looked up the link and I get 404 file not found. It says sorry, the page you requested cannot be found.
On this link?
Yeah.
Try again because we haven't had any trouble with anybody else. If I can get to it, you can get to it.
Okay.
Just check your spelling. Make sure it's HTTPS.
Maybe. Okay.
Okay, then once you've gotten, I want you to download the one that matches your system. And we'll just leave it in your downloads folder for now. Next class, we'll actually do the install of it because we're not going to write any code tonight. Okay, did everybody get that downloaded? Give me a green circle.